All right, so welcome to another episode of What's Your Story? And who do we have here with us today?
Nita Raven.
Nita Raven. So where are you from, Nita Raven?
I was born in Greenwood, but I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina, down in Rosewood.
Woo woo! Shout out to the Med.
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, I made a Facebook post, which is how we got here. I made a Facebook post about is there anyone in Columbia that would love to do interviews, and I believe you were the first person
Probably.
to comment.
Probably. I saw it and just kind of took my shot.
So. Yep. So I was like, hey, next time we're in town, we're going to link up with you. And that's how we ended up here. And we talked a little bit before, just off camera about some of your stories. So what I like to do is I like to put the ball in your court. You start from any part of your story you would like to start from. And then we just, do banter back and forth from there. And I ask questions from there. So
okie dokie.
Go ahead, start whenever you want.
All right. Hopefully I don't ramble on, but I guess I'll start from the beginning. Whenever I was born, my parents didn't stay together very long after that. I think I was around 3 months old when I went to live with my grandparents. And my grandpa was a disabled veteran. He died when I was around 4. And my dad wasn't really there as much as I would have liked him to have been because of the whole custody agreement thing. My mom, she was always in and out of my life. She, I guess, preferred to be with significant others instead of being the mom that she should have been to us, to the point where she was in and out. I wouldn't see her for, I think, sometimes 6 months. She kind of picked and chose when she wanted to come into mine and my siblings' lives. And anytime she would come around was whenever she needed a place to stay or wanted to bring around whomever she was with at that time. I'm not sure if she was into like prostitution and stuff like that, but I do know she struggled mentally with being bipolar, manic depressive, all those things. And then growing up, and she would bring those guys around and they decided that, hey, like, let me touch on your kids. Not only was she mentally and physically abusive when my grandparents weren't around, she was also letting her boyfriends at the time not only touch on me, but more so my sister. And that growing up being molested and stuff like that, it messes with you mentally to the point where I had to go to therapy all throughout high school, which a lot of people didn't know that this happened to me in school. I didn't tell anybody until I got older. And my brother, he's got Asperger's, so they would like to more so hit him or be verbally abusive to him. And my sister, she would always step in front and kind of take more so of the heat since we were the younger 2 siblings. And me and her are really close. She helps out with my kids and everything. And I'm no longer in contact with my mom. There was one point when, this was before I had my kids, I was laying on the couch and she just snapped. I was on the phone and she just started beating me in my face and my head to the point where I had a concussion. And my brother saw it and he just had to like, he didn't like putting his hands on her, but he had to fight her to get her off of me, to where she had to have like 10 staples in her head because she just refused to stop hitting me. And that has happened more than a handful of times.
Does she have any medication or anything?
She's supposed to be on medication, but she doesn't take it.
Gotcha.
Thankfully, I wasn't ever said to have bipolar or anything like that. I do have like ADHD, which is funny because I didn't get diagnosed until my daughter got diagnosed with ADHD, because we have a lot of the similar characteristics. But I do have anxiety and depression. And because of the abuse, I developed a really bad eating disorder in high school. I wouldn't eat for days to weeks on end. I literally would just, I don't know, I felt like that was the only thing in my life that I had control of. I still struggle with an eating disorder today. I used to abuse laxatives and also binge eat. So I would not eat, and then whenever I would eat, I would use the laxatives and then purge. And that messed up my digestive system to where I have to be on medicine every single day for the rest of my life because of it.
Yeah.
And I still struggle with food today. I still struggle with my body image. I have thyroid issues, so my weight goes from, I could be 150 in 3 months, and then I can be like 89 at my lowest. But with my mom, she made one comment that her life was more important than mine or my unborn child's when I was pregnant with my oldest. She tried to set up my husband to say that he was cheating on me. She signed him up for pornographic materials, and we don't believe in that. So my relationship with her has been very, I've tried to make it work. It's been very emotional cutting my mom off and
sure.
having a relationship with my dad now as an adult, and having that father figure now has helped in a lot of ways. And having my husband and seeing him be that parent that I needed to, for me, to my kids, has helped me. And when I became pregnant, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to let my kids go through what I went through as a kid. So I'm very protective. And after high school, I guess I looked for love in all the wrong places. I got married immediately out of high school to try and escape that situation, which I just got my heart broke because he was a Marine and I moved out there. He cheated on me, abandoned me, and I had to have someone help me come home across country, which it was great to be back home. I had a lot of healing to do. I immersed myself in God because he was not supportive at the slightest. He actually told me that he, at one point, said that, oh, I don't know if I believe in God. And then it was, okay, well, there is no God. Just didn't support me in anything in the church or in any sort of way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I gained a lot of weight during that time. So I guess he used that as kind of like, oh, well, you don't look the same as whenever we got together. So it's your fault that I cheated and that I left.
He blamed you.
Yeah, he blamed me and then was telling everybody that he didn't do anything wrong. So that was a challenge. And so I immersed myself in church, got myself back on track. And then I went through a few relationships where I was still having trouble with my eating disorder. I started drinking every day, going out to the bar. I started smoking weed, which I don't do anymore. Haven't in a very long time. If people do that, that's their thing. But
yeah.
I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna say, it's not for everyone.
Yeah,
it's all a preference thing.
Yeah, it's not. And at first I used the whole, oh well, it's getting me to eat type thing. So if it does work for someone, that's them, passing no judgment. But I was becoming someone who I didn't recognize. I started questioning everything, just didn't care. And then me and I dated Clint for a while. Me and him broke up. Well, he broke up with me, but and I started hanging out with some very unfortunate people. And at a party, I took something, which they told me it was Molly, and I don't know why I decided to take it. But then I got taken advantage of by two of the guys at the party, and contracted something. Thankfully, it was treatable.
Yeah.
And I had to do a lot of healing from that. And after that, a few years later, I actually met my husband through someone that I guess I was casually dating at the time. And so I met him and immediately got pregnant because they told me I could never have kids. Something was like wrong with my uterus or something or other. Yeah. And he looked at me and he was like, I think you're pregnant. And I thought he was joking. I started laughing. And he was like, no, you need to go to the doctor. Every single home test I took, negative. I go to the doctor. Congratulations. And we went through a tough time whenever I was pregnant. I was high risk. I almost had her at 30 weeks. But he has been there literally every single step of the way. We weren't like officially together. But you know, things happen, but he's always been there for me. He's always been there for our kids. We got married about a month after she was born at our church, and he was there I tried to breastfeed. He was there every time I woke up. And then I got postpartum depression and anxiety, and I had to have help where I would be able to sleep and like not freak out and think that something bad was going to happen to her. And I started therapy, and therapy works wonders if you put the work in. And we tried for a while, and we were able to conceive our second, Hunter, and just being able to share that joy and to be able to be married to someone who is everything that you wanted growing up, and to be able to have that for your own family and have that for your kids is just amazing. Because now I'm giving my kids what I wanted and what I needed growing up, so that they don't have to go through what I went through. And my husband has a crazy story himself, but we've definitely come together. We've gotten sealed in the temple because we're both LDS. He's a convert, and I grew up Mormon, or we prefer Latter-day Saints. But I've kind of changed a lot. I used to be really different and dark and depressing in high school. Now I'm married for 8 years, got 2 kids, baked from scratch, trying to go all natural, and just shows that, no matter what you deal with in life, or no matter what you're dealt with in life, you aren't your past. You can overcome anything, and you can still be happy. You can still do what you want to do and be an inspiration to people. I have people that have heard, in my church what I've been through, and I don't want to say it gives them hope, but I would hope that it would give them hope, from anyone who's been sexually assaulted. It may feel like the end of the world, but it does get better with time, and you won't be looking over your shoulder for forever. I have seen, because I didn't go to the police, I've seen one of the guys out and about, and it's gotten to the point where, like, at one point when I first saw him, I would freak out and like have a panic attack. And now I'm confident in myself. I've healed. I've grown to, I can walk by him and not take 2 thoughts.
How has your relationship with God helped you move on and grow as a person past these traumas?
Well, so I don't know if you've always heard of the saying, give it to God. And for me, I've had to give it to God and put my trust in him. And that's been a lot for me, because I've always got to be in control for the most part. Mm-hmm. But it's helped me heal as a person, because I know that no matter what, he's always going to be there for me. I always have a place with him, and I know that I'm always going to be able to go home to him, and that no matter what I do, that I can come back from that, and that there's no judgment. Mm-hmm. And knowing that I can always go to him in prayer and have that comfort. that's helped me, and knowing those things has helped me get over my trauma, because I know that if I'm feeling depressed or if I'm feeling sad about something, I can pray or I can have a priesthood blessing and immediate calm and safety. That feeling just comes over me, and I know that I'm okay. I know that things are going to be okay, and that God is there for me and that he's got my back. And just having that surety and that reassurance has helped me continue to grow and to deal with the trauma and know that, it's only here for a season. This too shall pass, basically. And that's actually what one of my tattoos say.
Yeah.
So
also explain like the benefits of therapy as well. Because some people, they feel a way about therapy, they don't want to share their problems. Yeah, and they're like, I don't want to share my problems with this person because they probably got problems too. But their job is just a therapist. You know what I'm saying? So explain the benefits of that.
Okay, so for me, I go to a female therapist, but she doesn't like do medication or anything. It's all like exposure therapy, stuff like that. So therapy is very beneficial, as you will have to deal with your traumas face to face. So with being in therapy, they tell you you cannot get past something unless you face it. So in order to get past something like being assaulted or eating disorders or anything like that, you kind of have to face your fear. You have to confront it. Kind of in the same way as, okay, I'm terrified of heights. You got to go, I'm not saying jump out of a plane by any means, but, go on that bridge and look down and say, okay, I'm okay. And they walk you through it. They're not just going to like push you in like you're going into the deep end of a pool. They slowly, gradually help you. And you don't have to be crazy to go to therapy. They don't make you feel like that at all. It's very reassuring, and your feelings will get validated. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like in today's society, a lot of people, it's only about what benefits them. And in therapy, it is for what benefits you, but you're getting validated, you're working on yourself, and you're going to have to put in the work, but it helps. It will help, and you can see a change over time. It may not be immediate, but it's very helpful.
Yeah.
And for those who think, oh no, I don't need therapy, you may not need therapy, but don't look down on someone who does.
Yeah. So I know you haven't talked to your mom, you said, in like a year.
Yeah.
What about your relatives or your siblings, I should say?
So I regularly see my siblings. They're actually moving close to where my mom lives at. So I've got to figure out kind of how to still see them, but not see my mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I text both of my siblings multiple times a day. I video chat them. They're very involved with my kids, and even like my nieces and nephews. They love the family because I'm the only one of the siblings that has kids.
Gotcha.
So, and they take care of my grandma because my grandma's got dementia. So I talk to them a lot because she's gotten a lot worse, a lot quicker than we would thought. So, we conversate a lot. Even though they still talk to our mom and I don't, and they respect those boundaries.
Yeah. So. Do you ever think there'll be a time where, you can't heal that relationship with your mom? Even though you guys are kind of on a break right now, do you ever think you'll ever get back together and, build that relationship? Or
I don't know. I mean, I would hope so, but that would more so be up to her. I would have to be able to see a change in her and, make sure that it's not just something that she's trying to do to get something from me. She's very set in her ways, refuses to admit that she did anything wrong. So, I mean, as of now, I don't think we will have a relationship in the future. I would love to. I would love for her to be the grandmother that my kids deserve. But as of now, I don't think that that's going to happen in the future, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we're actually close to wrapping this up. It's a tradition here. We always want to leave our viewers that watch, this story with some wise words, some kind words, or encouraging words of advice or anything like that. So look into this camera here.
That one? Okay.
Yep. And just give some words to the people that may be going through something similar to your story or has gone through something similar to your story, but they're not quite on the other end of that tunnel yet. They still may be dealing with some of that. Okay. Just anything to help them out. Just go ahead and say it into that camera.
I would tell you that you are not your trauma, and your trauma does not define you as a person. And just because you have a past or you have things going on in your life right now, that it's not the end, and your story can benefit others, and you can be that guiding light to show that it is possible to get through things, and that you're never alone. And if you need help, reach out, and that it's okay.
All right. I love that. Thank you so much.
No problem.
For sharing your time with us. We really appreciate it, and we really do appreciate you being so willing and so forthcoming to tell your story, and just how you know what I'm saying, express yourself on camera today. You know what I'm saying? You were enunciating very well. I really just love the whole get up, honestly. And I love how confident you are in talking about it, and it really shows your growth and where you are now compared to where you were back then.
Yeah.
All right, so that wraps up another episode of What's Your Story?
Thank you.
And we are out.